the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
And there are Sammy Gyamfi a communication officer for the National Democratic Congress and Dennis Miracle Abuaje ekokoshia ewo news far na ebusuafo na enya asem kotwa ene pani behwe Dennis ene Sammy Gyamfi de omuhia bia ebusuafo na ano ayeden na eno na Sammy Gyamfi ohwa ne nkasa na okasa sebi na opese okasa kra edi Bawumia ene Dr. Bawumia corrupt, Dr. Bawumia a liar, Dr. Bawumia a drunk ene nsem de okabipa na enye asem kotwa no na Miracle Abuaje editor na nim se ubetimi adidi obi atema na nya vice president because politics de nyina ye bi but to the extent se wanu betia obi de because ofro obi kra se ono aye liar ade se opese o tiri nipa kro ne se bia ye dudi atem ene Dennis Miracle Abuaje nso antwen amfa ma Sammy Gyamfi enkoni enkotie.
Samson, let me put it on record on this show before I leave here, and this should be probably the last time we'll ever go through this, because I've gone through this with you before. The new Patriotic Party introduced National Health Insurance Scheme. The NDC opposed it. The new Patriotic Party made the National Health Insurance Scheme universal and national. That is without doubt and question.
I'll stop you when your time is up.
Is ended. As a matter of fact, I'll read from the 2009 budget statement read by the NDC.
But I just read
titled, no, I'll repeat it. Investing in a better Ghana. And this is what the NDC said. Paragraph 731. Madam Speaker, the National Health Insurance Authority introduced a new diagnostic-related groupings and tariffs in April 2008 throughout the country. The new Universal ID card, which was to replace the expiring scheme-specific District Mutual Health Insurance Scheme cards, began in September 2008. These are not my words. These are the words of the NDC Finance Minister in Parliament in 2009. You see, this gentleman has consistently been lying and lying about so many things in this country. He's done it for so long. He does it without grinching.
So you won't listen when I say don't use such personal attacks.
And then he comes back, has the effrontery to call the vice president of the Republic of Ghana names and call him a liar. And he goes back to his bureau, sits down with his group, and they orchestrate scheming the algorithms online to actually plant and make the vice president of the Republic of Ghana a liar. This is the person. But he sits on TV and lies without even blinking. And he fabricates stories. And I think sometimes he's not speaking to us. I think usually he's speaking to his followers. He speaks to them, they cut videos, put it online, then it excites him. But my job, there's a reason why I'm called the Gen Z's president, is to fact check you. And so let's put it on record. He lied. Completely lied when he said they introduced National Health Insurance Scheme. That is a falsehood. And I've quoted their own budget statement to buttress the point. Now, you don't call the vice president a liar when you have no basis. And then you ask him, what makes the vice president a liar? Then he says he will build Cape Coast Airport and he hasn't built. And so he's a liar. I have just showed you 280 promises made by the President of the Republic of Ghana in 2012, John Mahama, His Excellency, that as President he was going to fulfill these things. Out of the 280, he did not do 191 of them. Have you heard us call him a liar? I am very hesitant in calling the former president names because I'm an Ekuapem guy. But I take complete exception from him and his followers by the consistent denigration of the Vice President of the Republic without provocation. The former president is here completely failing to fulfill his promises. Doesn't make him a liar. The fact that you make a promise in a manifesto, for whatever reason, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Bawumia, has never been president. Even him, you call him a liar. What would you call the former president, who has all these manifestos to his name and failed to fulfill them? There are three things I know about the vice president.
Your time is up.
He is not a liar. It doesn't matter. I can end it here. I told you I don't need 1 hour. He's not a liar. He's not corrupt. He's not a drunkard. I know these things, three things for a fact. And so I take a complete exception when you call the vice president a liar. It hurts me that you even go ahead to orchestrate. And your joy, you've done an investigation to establish the fact that he, Sammy Gyamfi, in particular, with this communications bureau, your investigation showed that they actually did this online. Why would you do that? It's just democracy. Why would you use denigration to make your point? And then in the midst of this, you are even the chief liar. Because you are here lying about NHIA, you are here lying about Dumso. You quote the vice president by saying that on February 7th, he said he was going to train 1 million coders. Okay. When you know for a fact, it doesn't matter, you can cut me. When you know for a fact that it is a lie, right. What the vice president said is this: we will train at least 1 million youth in IT skills. Right. Some said, this gentleman lies, and then after he finishes lying, he has the infantry, the guts, to call the vice president
you have done 5
a liar.
minutes. Thank you. Please remember, we are on the next subject.
Sure. Persons with disability in this country go to tertiary education for free. We mentioned, you remember we mentioned. We mentioned from the get-go, between former President Mahama and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the one that has consistently been speaking about consolidating the free senior high school and ensuring that it stays is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. All this while, what former President Mahama has been telling us that he will do is to segment the free senior high school policy. That is what he's been saying. What's changed all of a sudden? How is he all of a sudden saying exactly what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is
Has he been talking about a revision or a segmentation?
He said, at the moment, he's no longer even talking about the revision.
No, I'm asking, has he been talking about a review? Which word?
He spoke about segmentation. There are two things. And that is one of the reasons why, even at some point, we were saying that whenever he mentions review, it means cancellation. Because he spoke, he gave instances of what he's going to do before he brought in the word review. He said that he doesn't believe every Ghanaian should pay. That was the first thing he said. Secondly, he said that he doesn't even think that if he has 2 billion cedis, he should put all into free senior high school.
So you still do not believe that the NDC government started free SHS on a gradualist approach? You still don't believe that?
It's not like I don't believe. They didn't start free senior high school. What is free? Some say, do you pay for something that is free? You are a lawyer. Do you pay for something that is free? Can you tell me any instance in this country until 2017 where any child went to secondary education without paying fees? One. How do you call something that I'm paying for free? So they never introduced anything free, and I'm not surprised we are stuck.
So we are checking.
Okay,
we are checking a few things.
Yeah, check for me.
You say they have copied your what? Your policy for persons with disabilities?
Yes.
What's the proof that it is a copy from you?
Until Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia spoke about persons with disability in this election.
When?
Oh, during our regional tour. I mean, I could check the date, but during our regional tour. So definitely after February 7th. Did you ever hear John Mahama speak about this within this election period?
So you're saying you spoke about it publicly
within
first.
This election period.
You spoke about it?
Within this election period.
You spoke about it first?
Yes, within this election period.
Okay.
Don't forget, already there is a pilot rollout of the free tertiary education for the persons with disability. Already. There is, and you can call the PWD associations. Already there's a partial rollout. I went to Kwapman school, so I know a lot when it comes to PWD.
Yeah, so when you are seeking the opportunity to come into government, there will be policies already.
Yes.
And what you do is to seek to improve those policies.
Absolutely.
So,
and the guys are preaching research.
No, wait. What is copy?
Copy is when you don't come up with anything creative until you realize that your opponent is speaking about it and you think it's going to be beneficial to you, then you pick it.
Do you have in your manifesto free education, tertiary education for persons with disability?
Yes, it's here. It's in our manifesto.
Verbatim. In your manifesto, how do you say you intend to implement it?
Every person with disability that qualifies to go to tertiary education will be paid for free to pursue their tertiary education in Ghana.
Right. To the extent that someone also has that, it means they copied from you.
But if I prepare this document, or if I stand somewhere and say something, and you say the next day, is it not that easy for me to settle on the fact that you copied?
They said they will scrap e-levy. You say you will scrap e-levy.
Yeah.
Did you copy from them?
Maybe. It is possible. Why not? It is possible. If you say it before me and I say it afterwards, it is possible.
So you are copying from them?
Yes, it is possible.
Fair enough.
The principle is the same.
What else can you point to?
For example, so upgrade the surface of our football pitches to meet the highest international standard. They pick it. under sports and sports. They picked it directly from our manifesto. You know, there's a reason why the NDC waited 8 years without putting out a manifesto.
What do you?
Until
you said 8 years earlier. I thought that was a slip.
No, it's not.
What do you say? 8 years?
But you have 8 years in opposition as opposition leader. You are elected 1.5 years before your opponent, and you wait. Your opponent announces the date for his manifesto. Then the next day you announce yours. What are you intending to do?
So what do we make of what you said, that most of what
I can give you more.
Most of what they have in the manifesto
He's done
is
exactly
recycled
20 minutes like I did. Exactly 20 minutes.
No, he hasn't yet.
No, he started 10
You
Wait,
like
wait.
that thing too
Yeah.
much. You spoke all this while I didn't.
correct.
No.
Just pointing that out.
Let's not argue
You like
about the
that.
time.
You like
I spoke about the time, but unfortunately,
Exactly the same.
you have done an equal time. It's fine.
I mean-
No, let's do it this way. Now, you guys, I lost my thought.
Because you won't lose
What
it.
was I going to? No,
You were asking
because of your
the list
intervention.
of copying. Easy, I'll show you plenty.
No, wait. Because if you actually had to play it that way, then it will mean that none of you will have an original manifesto if we go back to when you began manifestos.
See, mindset and intentions.
Because you see the similarities
So let me-
in most of your
so let me-
manifestos.
let me-
No, I was going to that question. Here's the question. You said most of what they have is recycled
Yes.
from 2012, 2016,
Most.
2020.
Yeah, easy. I have the list. I can
Okay,
give it.
so if most of what they have is recycled from their previous manifestos,
Most.
where
So
that,
most. But I'll give you examples of the ones they copied.
okay,
So it's here. I can give you a tall list. There's plenty. It's here. I have it here. Plenty. I mean, when it comes to integrate
said-
scholarship database
they said they would train 1 million youth in coding and programming. What does your manifesto
we
say?
train 1 million youth in digital.
What exactly is the
Coding
difference?
is a subset of the digital systems. Coding
Okay.
is one.
So did you copy this from
No,
them?
they are not the same.
Okay.
They are not the same. They
right.
are doing just one small aspect of it. We are doing a broader. They are not the same.
If you check the detail, it's not
No,
exactly
it's not
the same.
details. It's not the same. It's not an issue of. There's a complete difference
It's coding
in digital
and
skills.
programming.
Digital skills
Okay.
is broader than coding. Coding is just one aspect of digital skills.
All right. They spoke about a 10 billion investment in infrastructure, which is what they had promised earlier. So you are right to say they have gone back to their manifesto to pick things.
So there are three things happening in the NDC manifesto. There are things that they promised they would do in 2012, for which we made former President Mahama president, which he didn't do. And that's one of the points I keep making, that he has a responsibility, owes the people of this country, to come and tell us why we gave him an opportunity to be president to do specific things. He failed to do, and he's back to tell us the same things he told us. That's one. Number two, the second bit also is that there are things that he contradicted himself on. Things he doesn't believe in. Things that over the period everybody in this country knows that he doesn't believe in. One of which is the free senior high school that he never believed in. That all of a sudden he is bringing those things back to us.
So when you speak about the
let me mention
NHIS,
the thing.
no, it's okay. When you mention the NHIS, that you introduced it and they came and did, Kufuor introduced it, you recall that the facts remain that Kufuor had a mutual scheme for districts. It was not national. It was actually President Mills who made it a national
I haven't
to
heard,
the needs.
I really haven't heard anybody say that apart from the NDC. They have been touting their own, manifesto. Because I'm really yet to hear anybody say that. And it's especially so because really, if you read the manifesto, you realize that they're completely out of touch with the realities of the Ghanaian people. And
Completely.
yes. I mean, you can infer that from even the questions that you legitimately asked. Clearly, this is a group of persons who have sat in a room and put together things that they believe sound like music in the ears of people just for votes. Because if you compare the things they've put in their manifesto against the principles they've been espousing over the years and what they stand for, it's in complete contradiction of what they've been telling the Ghanaians.
You are scrapping e-levy, you are scrapping e-levy. That's no
Complete
contradiction.
contradiction of what they've been preaching, what they have been preaching over the period. This is a group of persons who were in power. In fact, this is a flag bearer who has been president before. Today, his spokesperson tells us that no Ghanaian child should have admission to school and not be able to go to school. But they were in government. He was president for 4 good years and left 100,000 average of Ghanaian children at home. The biggest challenge of Mahama, His Excellency, and the NDC have is the fact that they would have to account for his presidency, within the 4-year period, forget when he was vice president, within the 4-year period that we gave him an opportunity. Because everything, in fact, everything you look at in the manifesto, you would have heard him mention it either before 2012 or during the 2012 elections. And that is where everybody is concerned. Something, not just me or you, because you ask very legitimate questions. Millions of Ghanaians are looking at him and saying, where is this man coming from? This is somebody who is all of a sudden talking about how no sick person should be allowed or left to die. The person collapsed the National Health Insurance Scheme. This is somebody and this group of persons who promised us. They basically promised to give us a one-time health premium. Then we voted for them. For 8 years of being in office, they did not even think about the policy. In fact, what some of their leadership told us was the fact that that promise they gave was overambitious. The General Secretary of the NDC today, Fifi Kwete, said that the promise based on which we voted for them was overambitious, and so they could not implement. And this is the same person that has come to us and said, I was president. All the things that I'm seeing today are things that have been in existence in this country. But when you made me president, I didn't do them. Make me president again, and I'll do them for you. Look at this manifesto, Samson. The manifesto is either a recycled promise from his earlier manifesto he presented to us in 2012. When you give us a manifesto, we expect two things. Tell us how you're going to implement the manifesto, which timelines you're going to look at it, and if it's going to transcend beyond your 4 years, of course we should be able to say it. Secondly, give us confidence that you are credible and that you actually do what you say you will do. I look at the former president's manifesto for 2012, and I have it here. And I go through this manifesto and ask myself, how is this man expecting that the Ghanaian persons will make him president again? And I have a list of about 280 promises here. Is here. I can list all of them to you, and you can see it here. Out of the 280 promises he made in 2012, before we made him president, he fulfilled only 77 of them. Only 77 of them, Samson. A whooping 68% of the promises the former president made to the people of this country, before we made him president in the past, he did not fulfill. And so what is news? If the same person comes to you 8 years later and starts listing, basically shoplifting things across every space and putting it into a document and listing, what is news about it? You look at some of the things they mentioned, and clearly it tells you why they deliberately sat down for 8 years without putting out their manifesto until Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia put the manifesto. Clearly, places where we say we'll do one, they say we'll do two. They simply waited. When we say we'll do two, they say they will do three. Places we say we'll do black, they will do white. In some of the instances, they simply went into a manifesto and lifted everything and put into their manifesto. And that is where you see a lot of incoherence in the things that they put out. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is very clear. His manifesto is simply consolidating what it is that we have achieved as a country and fixing what is outstanding. And that is what an upgrade does. Something. Anybody that understands technology, understands reset, will tell you that when you are resetting, you have two options. Reset to factory settings, which basically is wiping everything off to zero, or resetting to a particular period, depending on when you backed up. I hope you're following. That is what it is. You are resetting to a particular period, depending on when you backed up. Now, for these guys not to hoodwink us and mislead us, one of the things that is missing, which they need to tell us that we can interrogate correctly, is where are you resetting us to? And clearly when I listen to Sammy, all I hear is they are resetting us to factory settings. Because he made a very important point. He says that when you have a broken system, you wipe everything and start afresh. That is not what Ghana needs. The Ghana today that under your tenure slept in darkness for 4 to 5 years now has power. We don't need to reset our energy sector. The energy sector is thriving. The Ghana today that you left 100,000 children every year on the street now are in school. You don't need to reset the education sector because the children are in school. The Ghana that you left, the poor person's children in colleges of education and nursing, that you said if you're going to lose an elections by simply not restoring the allowances that you will lose, they are now in school. They are receiving their allowances. You don't have to reset that Ghana that we are enjoying now. The Ghana today, where we could not even identify our citizens and take care of them properly, today has a properly synchronized national identification system that is synced to almost every touch point you can think of, and we are ready to leap into the future. It doesn't need a reset. It needs a consolidation, and it needs an upgrade. And so when you come and tell the people that I was president before, I denied all of you children from going to senior high school education. But forget the fact that I said I would not implement free senior high school on the whimsical promises of a desperate politician. Forget the fact that I said I will not implement free senior high school. I will not spend 2 billion cedis on free senior high school. Today, I was against free senior high school. I always said that when it comes to free senior high school, some people should pay and others should not pay. All of a sudden, come to university. If you qualify to the university, I will pay for university education for free. And that is a contradiction you sought to put out. You know what is critical about Manifesto, Sam said? It is not just you putting things into a document. It is about who is behind it and the credibility of the individual, the sincerity of the individual, the honesty of the individual. God being so good for the people of this country, we've had an opportunity to experience this individual. Of all the candidates who are running for this election, it is only the former president who has been president before. And so we can tell clearly, today we have his scorecard is here, as to whether he's a man who sticks to his words, as to whether he's a man who says what he will do based on manifestos. This is the list of his manifestos from 2012, after which we made him president, and this is how much he failed, completely failed to deliver on these promises to the people of this country. Now, Samson, think about this. You leave me at home without education, secondary school, so I drop out. You are saying that if I hustle to go through it, if I struggle to go through it and I come to the university, all of a sudden, you found money to pay for me. Do you know what is happening? And I'll tell you, I'll give you a quick background to the NDC.
Is that not an upgrade of what you have done?
But they said they want to reset. The upgrade is ours, not yours. And that's what we are talking about.
No, you are just saying that doesn't...
No, it doesn't match for you. We believe in possibilities. I actually think that we are going to get to the point where every single student in any tertiary university will be paid for free. Because there is no greater investment as a country than to invest in education and health for your people. I believe in that.